Hi everyone, my name's Kathy and my blog is The Daily Marker, and I'm doing a quick review, just kind of showing you what's inside some of these coloring books. I love to color, and my coloring challenge, my 30-day coloring challenge, starts October 1st. And meet Max, my pooch who likes to color alongside me. So I hope you pick up a few tips. And let's go ahead and get started. And if you're not into this, just turn it off. Hello everybody. I'm going to do this coloring book, a quick review. I've got a wide variety of coloring books here. And I'm turning my phone off right now. And hopefully the dog won't bark. And I did it in one of these books. I wanted to color in every single one and show you, give you a review of how the different markers and stuff worked. So I'll do that with this one. Maybe I'll start out with this. But it's just way too overwhelming to do that in every different brand. So I'm giving one of these away, but I purchased 3 of these. I love their designs. It's like the size of a, help me out here. In school, there's that special notebook. They're like $1 notebook. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's that size. It's a great size. Really easy to carry. A lot of the other ones are a lot bigger. I love the size of this, and I love the strong black lines. And I think after the coloring challenge and after I recover, I want to do a pop-up challenge of what to do with all your coloring book images. And of course, there's the obvious. You can frame them. Don't be afraid to rip them out and frame them. IKEA has some really reasonable frames, and it'd be great to do a whole wall with your frames all lined up. All right, so this is a Posh coloring book, and the majority of the coloring books have the papers kind of thin. It makes it much more affordable to print. And these books, they have a variety of thinner lines and thicker lines. I think they're appealing to everybody. And it's kind of nice because sometimes you want to zoom in on a smaller lined design, and then sometimes you don't want to have to think too much about it and do something bigger. So in this book I used, and I took photos and everything, but I used all different markers. I'm trying to think. These are the Copics here. This was the Bic. I did not like the Bic in this book because it made these little like chicken scratch lines. But most of the other markers had smoother lines. No, let me see. So, but I think, regardless, if the whole thing is with these little chicken scratch lines and it's consistent, it's going to look good. And then the majority of them went through on the back side of the paper. But usually, there's so many images. I suggest using a piece of cardstock in between. That way it won't go through another page. And sometimes this looks like art too. So I'm not anal, obviously, but I wouldn't let that bother me. If I have time, I will include the photos and tell you which markers I used and stuff. But I know this was Copic markers. I used a Dove blender to blend some of the, like the Tombow and the Distress markers. I didn't really, and this is the Dove marker, and it can blend watercolor things. It has some solution in here. Mine feels pretty dry. But the paper's a little bit warped, and this really does not put any water on there. So I think it's best just to use plain markers. And of course, the obvious is colored pencils. So with that said, I'm just going to show you all the different designs, and maybe it'll help you pick a book that you like. And we'll go with that because it's just too overwhelming to rate each book. So I already said that. Okay, so this is the same scale, just some different designs. It's kind of fun to do the geometric patterns, and they'd be really cool framed. And there's just a beautiful assortment in this book also. And I just love the size. Okay, so now Lisa Congan, I don't know if I spoke her name, but she's a wonderful artist. She's on Instagram, and I saw her speak at a blogging conference. She's so clever and creative, and this is her book. And I love how the pages on this are bright white, and all of her lines are the same. And she has really beautiful flowers, and she has some other coloring books out with geometrics, and so I'm just going to page through here so you can see this. If you love flowers, I would think this is for you. Now these pages are a little bit heavier, so I'm sure they could take a very light, or let's say a damp paintbrush. And the nice thing is there's nothing on the back. I still would put a piece of cardstock behind it just to make sure you're not watching TV and you get jump or you're heavy-handed or something. But this is a beautiful book, and it's a nice size too, and some really great flowers. So that is Lisa Condon, her botanicals. And there's so many other random ones. This is a kaleidoscope design. Sometimes you might have to concentrate or maybe not. But it's just all kaleidoscope designs. Now I suggest when you're coloring in a coloring book, don't think or stress too much about what colors you're using. Just kind of get in a Zen mode and reach for some colors and do one that way and just see how it comes together. You know, they'd be kind of fun. This is by Jen Sky, and I kind of feel like it's the same book manufacturer as Lisa's, and there's some really neat designs in here too. These would be really cool framed in a kitchen or a guest bedroom or something. And this is, you know, the same paper. It's a little heavier and nice. I love the bright white. When you're coloring, keep in mind to leave some white spaces. I think it'll really make the colors that you chose pop out. So I also, let me show you on my phone. There's an app called Colorify. Colorify, yeah. And you can pick different things, and then you can pick what color you want. Red, green. And, you know, if you're one of those people that gets worried about what colors, you could do this and then say, oh, okay, I don't like that red and green together. Let me try blue. And then say, oh, okay, I like that better. So this app might help you if you have a mobile phone and are into apps. So that's just a suggestion. You could also go to designseeds.com, and they have really awesome color combinations. She pays for photos to use, and then she pulls the color from the photographs, and there are combinations you wouldn't normally use. So I suggest that too. Now this woman is on Instagram too. I'm sure they all have websites, but I love her illustrations. And this is thinner paper. This is not as thick, but they're beautiful illustrations. It's not quite as bright white. But I'm just going to flip here so you can see, because they're really pretty illustrations. This book would probably be best with colored pencils. So it's another kind of I love flowers, flower power kind of book. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard of Zentangles and mandalas. So they're calling this Zendala. But mandalas are, you know, when you're, and it's in a circular design, it's supposed to kind of be a meditative, spiritual thing when you're coloring in a circle, kind of like life force. I don't know. But anyways, you can look that up. But Zentangles kind of designed this book. And it's a really neat book. And this paper is pretty much consistent with the majority. It's a little thinner. It's not quite bright white. But, you know, there's some great designs. And these would be super cool in a square frame. IKEA has square frames. I wanted to buy a bunch and hang them on the wall and color along with the challenge and then have that wall finished. But I need an assistant to get things done I want. You know, so many times you get ideas and it just never happens. Okay, there's a whole bunch of these books by Design Originals. I think I have a small one. Yes, and there's a small one here too. So let me show you the small one first. This is really easy to travel with. The pages are pretty bright white, but for someone who might get overwhelmed with a big design, this would be a great, it's kind of stiff. This would be a great book. And there's really neat quotes on every page. This could be a nice gift book. But there's beautiful designs, and then there's examples as well. So that's pretty cool. It has some colored pages. And I love all the quotes. So that's a little review of that. And then here's the bigger Design Originals. These are by Valentina Harper. And then there's flowers and animals here. And I think there's a bunch of other ones as well. And again, there's some colored examples in the back and more quotes. This paper seems to be a tiny bit heavier, but not as much as the Lisa Condon book as this one. That wasn't Lisa's, but whatever. Okay, so these are, I think I follow this person on Instagram, but she's so creative. Look at these. They're just beautiful. And I love the white space around it. So it looks like you need a really good pencil sharpener with these. And, you know, you could use any kind of marker with these. Like these, I don't think it would bleed through as much as, like, say, a Sharpie marker. Let's see. Yeah, these kind of markers would work really well here. Let's see if we did a Sharpie. I should have something under this. Has a little strip of paper. Well, the Sharpie works good too, actually. And then there's the back. And again, colored pencils will work on everything. So for small areas, these small tips are great. But if it's a larger area, you want to use a brush tip marker. Like Tombow has brilliant colors and a beautiful brush tip, which is great to cover large surfaces quicker. I mean, you don't want to spend 10 minutes coloring this one little space. So, let me flip through this for a second and then we'll go to the next. I don't want this video to be too long, but they're absolutely gorgeous illustrations. These would be really fabulous to frame them as well. And the colored examples. So this was the animals, and then here's the flowers. Just flip through this. Just makes me want to stop what I'm doing and color right now. Coloring these dots in and then adding white dots on top would be so exciting. These would be really pretty framed. They're busy, but they're not. I don't know. I think I like it when the whole page does not have a design. These are some random books. This is kind of big. It's kind of a fun book because it has places where you can fill in if you're into drawing. There's some fun sketches. This would be fun to get the kids involved in this. And there's some prompts down in the corner. A lot of whimsical things. Some of these would be super fun to color and hang in your kitchen or give as a gift in a frame. This is why I bought the book, because I love this like kitchen theme with the food. I just think that's so cool, and colored it'll just be beautiful. And the teapots and stuff, so that's why I bought this. It's a neat book. And there's just some fun whimsical things. So that's this. This is some more mosaic patterns. Just gonna flip through this really quick. And quicker. Here's another random book. When I went to Barnes & Noble's, they had two areas with coloring books, which is really exciting. Coloring is becoming a big thing. Creative coloring therapy. There's been some articles I mentioned on my blog, thedailymarker.com. Articles by the Huffington Post and Parade magazine about how it lowers your blood pressure. It's the new yoga, and it's kind of meditative. So I'm glad that you're watching this. I'm glad that you want to color, and it doesn't matter what you color. And don't think too much about what you're picking. Trust your instincts. It always comes out in the end. I love this page with the ice cream. So this is thin and lightweight. Here's another thin and lightweight book and some more 3D designs. So these are a little bigger, a little easier to do, and these would be really cool too. Now, if I might suggest, if you're doing something like this, what I would do is, let me take a pencil. Oh, I moved my pencil can. Oh well, okay, so let me take this Bic marker, and what I would do is, you know, the Bic is a little too thin for this. I'm going to do the brush tip. Okay, so. Alrighty, well, guess what? My camera freaked out on me and just kind of stopped me dead in my tracks, so I've switched over to my microphone the old-fashioned way. What I'm showing here is that these patterns, your eyes can play tricks on you. So go along the picture and outline the spaces that you're going to color first, and then go back and color them in. Am I making sense? You know, the spaces, the pattern, whatever you want to call it. But just go along the whole page and do the purple. Now here I'm just doing like a little slideshow. This is the Bic markers, what I colored in front, the Memento markers. Just wanted to do a little comparison. I used the Dove blender with distress markers here, and then I used it with a damp paintbrush and some water. And both of these, they all kind of warped the paper a little. And this is the Zig markers with the Dove blender.